African mathematical thought, Lebombo counting system, one of humanity's earliest numerical records. You're referring to the Lebombo Bone, sometimes described as an early counting or tally system. It is one of the most important pieces of evidence for very early mathematical thinking in Africa. The artifact was recovered at Border Cave in the Lebombo Mountains of South Africa, overlooking present-day Eswatini. Modern scholarship places the notched bone at approximately 42,000 years old. Cambridge Assets. The surviving object is a small piece of baboon bone with a sequence of deliberately cut notches. Older descriptions commonly count 29 notches, which led researchers and writers to describe it as a tally stick or lunar stick. Cambridge Assets. Why the Lebombo bone matters. The important idea is not that these people had a written numerical system like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead, the marks demonstrate the much older concept of one-to-one numerical recording. Vertical bar equals one event, double vertical bar equals two events, triple vertical bar equals three events. Each notch could represent something being counted: days, objects, events, animals, exchanges, or something else. That is a fundamental mathematical concept, using a physical symbol to preserve quantity outside the human memory. So the Lebombo bone potentially represents an early stage in the long development from counting to tally marks, to numerical symbols, to arithmetic, to mathematics. What about the 29 marks? Because a lunar cycle lasts approximately 29.5 days, some have proposed that the 29 marks represented a lunar calendar. Others have suggested that it may have been used by women to record a menstrual cycle. Those are interesting hypotheses, but archaeologists cannot yet prove what was being counted. The safest description is that it is a deliberately notched object that may have served as a tally or numerical recording device. That distinction is important because the artifact itself is extraordinary without turning an interpretation into a fact. This changes the timeline. Cambridge University Press describes the Border Cave specimen as a possible prehistoric counting device dating to about 42,000 years ago. It also notes that the earliest unambiguous written numbers known from archaeology appear much later in Mesopotamia, during the 4th millennium BCE. Cambridge Assets. That means numerical thinking and the recording of physical quantities existed tens of thousands of years before the famous written number systems of Egypt and Mesopotamia. And some of our earliest evidence comes from southern Africa. Lebombo bone versus Ishango bone. They should not be confused. The Lebombo bone is much older and primarily consists of tally-like notches. The later Ishango bone, discovered in Central Africa near Lake Edward, contains multiple organized groups of marks and has generated more elaborate mathematical interpretations concerning grouping, doubling, and numerical relationships. Together, they provide powerful evidence that Africa belongs at the beginning of the story of human mathematical thought, not at the end. In closing, more than 40,000 years ago in southern Africa, people were deliberately carving repeated numerical marks into bone. We may never know exactly what they were counting, but the Lebombo bone preserves something profound, an early African attempt to make quantity permanent, to take a number from the mind and place it in the physical world.